If we could have your attention, please, and call the meeting to order. Before we get started today, most of you are aware of the fact that John Kleinhexel passed away, and we're sorry to hear about that, and I thought it'd be appropriate, recognizing his more than 14 years of service here on the MACC, that we take a moment to reflect upon him and the wonderful personality that he was, and also, if you are inclined to, share a private moment to pray for his family as they grieve his loss. We'll call the meeting to order. Judy, do we have a quorum? Wonderful. We'll start with introductions. It actually would be fitting. Larry Brown is here to replace John on the MACC. Welcome. And
I don't know if I'm capable of replacing him, but I'll take up a seat here anyway. Yeah, Larry Brown, I'm with the Allegan County Road Commission.
And I'm Gretchen Cosby. I'm County Commissioner for District 1 in Ottawa County.
Tom Oak, Zealand Township.
Tyler Kent, MDOT of the Grand Regional Office.
Kurt Van Koevering, Ottawa County Road Commission.
Kevin Kleinstra, City of Zeeland.
Mike Sabatino, Port Sheldon Township.
Jason Latham with the MACC.
Tom Bird at large.
Alan Nice, Olive Township, and welcome.
Jim Story, Allegan County Board of Commissioners.
Heather Bowden, statewide planning at MDOT.
Brian Ferrier, Lakeshore Advantage.
Mandy Cooper, Lakeshore Advantage.
Steve Boltice, Holland Township, pinch hitting for Terry Nice today.
And Nathan Box, City of Holland.
Alex Miller, Transportation Planner at the MACC.
Eric Dexter at the MACC.
Judy Fisher, the MACC.
And Jim Gerard joining us. Great. I'd also like to welcome Ryan. He's with Lakeshore Advantage. A number of you have been introduced to him, and glad to have you with us today as well. And with that, we will look for a motion on approval of the minutes, which you've received in your packet.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. And we will, not seeing any members of the public here today, we'll move on to our agenda and turn the meeting over to Jason.
All right, thank you, everybody. We're going to start off with Safe Streets for All discussion. And Eric, you get to take it away.
Thank you, Jason. Good to see everyone today. So we have two updates on federal grants that we've applied for. First, we unfortunately were not selected for the Reconnecting Communities and Neighborhoods grant. Two places in Michigan were. They were both in the Detroit area. So it would have been a 50-50 match for building a pedestrian bridge over the business loop. We feel that we put together a very strong application with letters of support from MDOT, the City of Zeeland, and Zeeland Charter Township, all agreeing to write letters of support. So we felt it was pretty solid, but we didn't get it. So we do have a debrief scheduled with the Federal Highway Administration on Thursday. So we'll find out what we could have done better, if anything, to secure the grant. So on the other grant, the Safe Streets for All, so we recently received our signed and executed grant agreement from the Federal Highway Administration, so we can now get paid under our Safe Streets for All grant. So we drafted up a RFP, which we sent out to the 4 road owning agencies in our area, and did not get any comments back. But in addition to that, we to select a consultant for our safety action plan, we kind of voluntold these 4 people that they have to be on our steering committee. So they're on there. Allegan County Road Commission, so Craig Atwood. City of Holland's Brian White. Ottawa County Road Commission is Brett Laughlin, and then City of Zeeland would be Kevin Plockmeyer. So those guys will be on the committee. And then if anyone else wants to sit on that committee, just please let us know. So we're going to meet. They'll meet regularly with us, and they're going to help the consultant develop the safety action plan since they own all the roads in the area. So we're going to send out the request for proposal this week. Again, we didn't receive any comments from any of these 4 agencies. So hopefully we will have a consultant selected within a month. That's our goal.
And one thing I'd like to add, we also sent it to MDOT and Federal Highway
Yes.
as well, just because we wanted to make sure that they're on board with the RFP. And I will say that RFP language is pretty standard, but we did copy a lot of the information from Grand Valley Metro Council, the one that they used from last year as well, just because we wanted to keep that language that we know that MDOT and the feds support. But certainly, if anybody has any comments, we do want that feedback. What's the other thing I wanted to say? Oh, just the feedback that we've been getting from Federal Highway has been really good. And the fact that we have that agreement with the feds, Federal Highway in Washington, D.C., have it signed and ready to go already. They said it's the fastest one that's happened probably in the country. And I owe a lot of that to Eric for you hounding them in a very nice and polite
Yes.
way.
We're just trying to keep the ball moving.
Yeah, we said we want to be first. We want to be, we want the feedback. We want to know what the feds need, and that we're here to support them and support this grant. So they do like working with us, and they've given us a lot of positive feedback. So we're going to keep that relationship going really strong. So thank you, Eric.
And we probably have one of the best representatives from the Federal Highway Administration we're working with. She is a rock star for sure. So, besides that, so that's it for the grants. Next up, so this will be a motion item. The Technical Advisory Committee this month approved the quote from DLZ for traffic counts, $17,500, which was $300 less than AECom, who was the only other bidder. It's unfortunate to lose out over $300, but so this will count 55 locations around our region, and it'll do speed, volume, and classification. So DLZ we've used for the past few years, so we're excited to use them again. We have a good relationship with them. So with that, it's a motion item, and we're looking for a motion to approve.
So moved. Support.
All right.
Very good. So it's moved and supported. Any other discussion items with this? Any comments? Okay, then all in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
And then opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Yeah, and
Who was first and who was second?
Mr. Brown was,
I made the motion, Larry Brown.
Okay. Thank you.
and we did reach out to all the municipalities to find out where they want traffic counts done, and I've heard back from probably half of them. The other half I'll just go off of where we haven't counted in a while, and I will prioritize the federal aid network on our local streets. So. Next up, the non-motorized plan. So we're still in the process of developing our refresh to the 2014 non-motorized plan. With the help of our technical advisory and non-motorized committees, we've agreed on a 1 through 6 PASER rating scale for all the side paths in the area. So side paths might be a foreign term to most people. These are shared use paths greater than 5 feet in the right-of-way, running parallel to a road. So mainly asphalt. I would say 95% of them are asphalt paths. Then there's 5% would be concrete. So I've sent that out to the owners of the paths, and I've received verification back from everyone that these actually exist and they want them rated. So Alec and I have been on a few test runs for rating to work the kinks out, which have been very eye-opening. We learned a lot of things during those rides, so I think we have a good system down now. And I have to throw out praise to Andrew Roskowski from Ottawa County Strategic Impact, who helped us. We're going to be using Alec's smartphone, since I don't have one, to do a point layer pretty much and show where there's standing water, where there's vegetation intrusion, things of that nature, retaining walls and things. So at the end of all this, we hope to publish a web map to our website so anyone can access the information. But rating will probably commence after spring break. We want to do it before the summer weather hits, so we're really trying to get it done.
You want to do it before the summer.
Yeah, I don't like the hot weather, so
20 degrees. He's like, it's a perfect day if you want to go
perfect
out.
day to ride.
No, you need 60 plus.
Yeah. Other things we're looking for are the raised ADA plates to make sure, like to take an inventory of our area to see where those are, because that's very important. And then also railroad crossings to show where those are. So, and for the non-motorized plan, we hope to have it finished by the end of the year. That's our goal, so.
I have a question for our non-motorized pathways around the area. Maybe, I don't know if it's something that the townships or who overlooks this, but I heard the other day there was some bike path that they said that electric bikes were prohibited on. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering what our paths are like, because they're getting quite popular, and some of them go
Yeah.
faster than a scooter.
I think it's a municipal ordinance, and I know Park Township has been talking about it. And Jim, maybe if you know anything, not to put you on the spot.
We don't have anything specific on the, for an ordinance for that. We're hoping to pass something this spring before the season. There's 3 different levels. There's 1, 2, and 3. And 3, I don't remember all the levels because I don't have one, but we're likely going to allow levels 1 and 2, but not 3 because of the speed, and we'll have the ordinance of keeping a speed 15 miles an hour or less.
Okay.
Now, even the level 2 and probably the 1 will go faster than that, but it'll be the responsibility of the owner to keep it under this proper speed.
Okay, thanks.
And I've heard like the Ottawa County Sheriff isn't going to be out
Right.
monitoring paths. I think it's all complaint driven for citations.
Yeah, we have an ordinance now that limits to level 1, so.
Yeah. But I'll have everyone know, we have the e-bikes and we ride very responsibly when we're out on the paths. Because we have all the PPE on. We just don't need any complaints, so.
I think the bigger issue will be keeping some of the other things off. I know every now and then I see someone in Park Township riding a motorcycle. Well, it looks more like a mini bike, very slowly, but these wheels, boy, those things fly.
Yeah.
So we'll have to include that in our ordinance as well.
So real quick, I'm just going to throw this out. Would the members here think it would make sense for us to put something together and then as a group support some type of language? I don't know if that would help you as individual communities say, yeah, the MACC supported this and we should adopt something similar, or are we getting a little too much into your area and don't want to step on toes? Because it's obviously your ordinance, your area, but I don't know if there's an opportunity for us as a larger group to support some language or support ideas or just gather information. We're here to help with that.
Personally, I'd see it more as guidelines, and then the board could adopt what they thought was useful. I think it would be a good idea.
Okay. Does anybody
As
else?
someone that bikes, I think would be nice to know that they're uniform, that you don't know when you're crossing jurisdiction as to
Right.
all of a sudden, okay, now this is the,
Yeah. Right.
I think that'd be very helpful. I agree with that.
And that's something that we could try to put into the plan, or it's something that we could work on maybe a little ahead of schedule and talk about over the next 2, 3, 4 months. But I know each jurisdiction has kind of their own way of looking at things. And I don't want to step on toes, but I do like that idea that here, we're a group, we're all talking about this together, we're going to do a deep dive, and then this is kind of what we think. But I don't want you to go, crosswise with your own boards. But maybe we can look at definitely putting guidance into the document for sure, and then as we maybe put it together, we'll bring it to you guys for discussion. And all of this will be discussed with the technical advisory committee first. So this isn't something we just come to you guys without running it past them. Okay, well, that's good. I'd like that discussion. That would be great.
Any non-motorized questions in general? I'd be happy to answer them if I can. Seeing none, we'll move on then. Thank you for your time.
All right. First thing I'd like to add is that out of the office, it shames me to say, as someone who watches an insane amount of college basketball, I am currently in last place, and Judy, who doesn't watch any college basketball, is in first place in our pool. So that's usually, I mean, I had a full page of notes. They were making fun of me. I watched a bunch of videos. I said, this is the year I'm going to win it. And Judy, who just guessed by the team's auras, she's in first place. So,
Gut instinct.
yeah, gut instinct. So she's better than I am for that. We just wanted to bring up that there is a meeting tomorrow for the I-196 Business Loop construction. That's in the Howard Miller Library. This one is put on by MDOT, and then MDOT asked us to be there so we could answer questions about stuff. We're also going to bring our all of our templates that we made for our pedestrian bridge crossing meetings. We've had 2 of those, so we're going to bring all of that information just so we can. I'm sure some people will be there to ask questions, so it won't hurt to have us there. Tyler, do you have anything to add, or for that, just?
Nope, it's our, it's basically, this one's really gonna be focused on the type of construction, the different time frames of when things are closed, open, or temporarily closed, let's say. I talked to a few people. I believe the plan, to my knowledge, is still to have 2 lanes open going into Holland for 2 at a time, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
We just want them in.
Yeah. Bring them in, and then you're on your own, get out. But at some point, you'll be able to get out, just probably not during 2 at a time. So, but nope. So looking
Great.
forward to that. So thanks for guys for being in attendance on that.
Yep. Next, we have our action items for the amendments. So this one, I have this number so ingrained in my head because it has been, I think, voted on. This is going to be the 4th time because it keeps changing with stuff. So this originally, if you remember, was the Allegan County job that we extended it 700 feet south. This was a couple months ago. Then funding was added to it. They got the CMACC funding, but the local agency program, the LAP, they were supposed to go in and keep the overall budget number the same, but replace the funds with CMACC to it. But they accidentally just added it on top and made the budget way bigger. And that wasn't caught, so that's why last month it went back, you guys approved it for an overall budget increase, even though it shouldn't have been a budget increase. So now this is technically a budget decrease that we're doing because we're taking the funding that was there, we're taking it out, and then we're replacing it back with the CMACC, so the budget does not change, just the funding source changes. Hopefully I did a good enough job explaining that. Then the other one, 220529, this is a pretty easy one, just the new 2026 bridge project in Ottawa County, 104th Avenue over Black Creek in Ottawa County. So if there are no comments or questions on that one, I could ask for a motion.
So moved.
For this one.
Support.
All right, we got a motion and support. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, same sign? Okay, motion carries. Thank you so much.
So hopefully that's the last time we have to see that Allegan County job, because I'm tired of changing that one so much. And then that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Alec. All right, so MDOT comments, we'll start.
Sure. Alec took the big one, but that's all right. But a couple of things, not necessarily in this area, but just to get the word out. There's a couple of big projects in the Grand Rapids metro area, so if you're heading east from here, unless you plan to go to Kalamazoo, which that way has some work too, you might get impacted by that. So the big one is M6 at 96 on the southeast side of Grand Rapids. You also have kind of starting fall this year and then through 26 and 27. I-96 kind of smack dab in the middle of Ionia County. That's our biggest singular job in a long time at over $100 million. And that'll be a full reconstruction of I-96 throughout there. And then the big one coming up this spring, which I guess folks probably don't take that route very often from here, but you will probably notice it in 196 if you're going into Grand Rapids, is we're doing a full closure of 131 on the south side of Grand Rapids for 2 months. So let's do bridge repairs, one bound at a time. So we will be trying to figure out how we will have 120,000 people a day kind of work their way around town.
Is that Burton to 28th?
Burton to 28th Street,
Yeah,
Plaster
okay.
Creek Bridge. So that has been all over the news, and I'm sure I will be getting a lot of comments. So. That is all my updates.
The I-94 one, Is that going into Benton Harbor, or is that on the other side of Kalamazoo? Is it
94 or 96?
94? What's the one in, goes
Oh.
through Kalamazoo?
Yeah, that's 94. So there's two, there's one there, and then there's another one down in the Benton Harbor area, that
94
that
will have.
94 stretch.
Yeah.
That's gonna be for, I think, 3 years. Kind of
Yes.
a construction nightmare.
Yep.
In Benton Harbor?
Yeah,
You have to head north.
yeah.
Take the bridge.
Yeah, you're not allowed to go south.
There, you can't go south, can't go
Yeah.
east. Pretty much north. I can provide people with other project information as we go along, but the big one around here is the BL public meeting, which we will have tomorrow.
Yeah.
All are invited.
Yes, we're gonna be there. We're looking forward to it. Heather, anything you wanna? No? Okay.
Jim has a question.
Oh, yep.
As long as we're on the MDOT subject, when is, you started the building the roundabout in Allegan City today.
Correct.
And maybe you could tell us a little bit about how long that's, enhanced traffic flow in our county.
Yeah, well, just a little south out of this area at City of Allegan, we partnered with the city and some others on, there's kind of 5 different intersections that meet in downtown or just west of downtown, and kind of cleaning up that intersection with a roundabout, which, some people love it or hate it, but in that situation, it'll probably work fine. There's also some road resurfacing work along that stretch of M89, kind of going towards Plainwell, and I think a chip seal in a couple of sections. But that big work in the middle of town is the roundabout work, which will unfortunately necessitate a closure there for some time. But as that work is ongoing, there's some local street improvements to kind of use that utility so we're not impacting people more than once. That project will likely take most of the summer into the fall to some extent, but at the same time, there might be different legs of it that can be accessed in different ways. So maybe southbound M40 to southbound M40 again, when it peels off, you can almost make a right turn between the two, and that might open up sooner than other different turning movements. As far as specific schedule of that, we just had a public meeting, so I should memorize all this. That was last week. That is scheduled to go through the fall. It's a pretty big one. But in the end, I'll just have a big roundabout where all those different front line legs meet in the middle. So, and a couple of local streets.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good one.
I do have a question for MDOT. It's probably not a project that you're tasked with, but there's recently been some information about proposals for putting toll rollers in on a number of roads, including 196. And is there an opportunity for public input or municipal input on that?
There was an effort in 2020 when, kind of right during the pandemic, when the legislature passed a bill to investigate the feasibility of tolling. They did have some virtual public involvement to the extent of what that was. I specifically was not involved, but I know they sort of had those opportunities. At the moment, I think the tolling kind of feasibility study, we'll call it, is being considered, but isn't actually a real, being implemented like tomorrow or anything. If there's public involvement opportunity, I'll have to check. I know we have a specific webpage for that, which probably has, comment website. The latest thing, not to be confused with tolling, is road user charges, which is a per mile fee, basically. And that is ongoing now. That's being led by our Office of Passenger Transportation, which I think there was some funding award from the federal side for them to look into that. I know the state is looking at that too as a possible supplement or future replacement of gas taxes. Vehicles don't use gas very much anymore. I guess mine does still, but mine does. But I guess they tell me it won't in a while.
So how would that work? Would that be an honesty program where you write in and say how many miles you rode?
I think any number of things are being investigated. It could be an honesty system, could be end of the year, you pull into a garage and they say before, after. Maybe there's I'm not saying this is the thing it's going to, but maybe there's something that keeps track of the mileage. And I know there's a lot of concern about that. I don't know if that's the route, but that is an option. So.
We had a presentation at the Road Commission seminar this week, and they're looking at do monthly billing.
There's another one.
That you'd have to report your different things, and I'll try to send that presentation to you. But they talked about one of the issues that we're also facing is vehicles are becoming more fuel efficient.
I didn't say it myself, so there's two of them supporting me.
That you got two conflicting issues that are really impacting road funding. And then this is a report that I'll send to Jason. He can forward it to everyone.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And I will, I'll look at where the road using charges is going for public comment. I think right now they had an initial, how do you feel about this kind of survey out there earlier this winter? I'm guessing they'll probably have a couple more saying, okay, here's some different options. What do you think of these? Or do you feel this is a better route? And probably kind of looking at that in more detail. So, but I can look at that and the tolling, which are kind of two separate items being looked at, but when we all think about it, it's kind of one to look at supplementing or replacing the gas tax, whether it's now or in the future or whenever. So is that hopeful?
Yep.
All right.
No, it's very good.
And it might be interesting, how many of the members here have participated in that survey for MDOT on alternative road funding?
Maybe we get a guest speaker.
Go one.
Yeah. We can get one. I can make that call, see if we can get somebody in here to.
We can look and see who from Lansing is able to talk to it. So.
Or at least just give us some information and
Yep.
we can get it before the committee here. That'd be great. All right. So Federal Highway's not here, so does anybody have any questions for Federal Highway that I can pass on to them? We do talk to them all the time, so. Then I'm going to jump to the administrative side of things. The financial report, we're at 42%, 46%, 42% through the year, so things are looking good. Nothing out of the ordinary, but if anybody ever has any questions, certainly give me a call or shoot me an email, and I will dive into it with them. Tom does it every now and again, so I appreciate that. But I got a lot to cover on the executive committee side of things. We had a good conversation a few weeks ago. First thing up is the student intern. So we talked about committee about hiring a student intern. The nice thing is, talked to MDOT as well as talking to Chris internally, and student interns were definitely something that we had plenty of in the past. I wanted to make sure that if we got a student intern on board, that this person would be able to charge their time to our consolidated planning grant, which MDOT confirmed they certainly could. With a lot of the stuff that we're working on with our non-motorized plan and going after the Safe Streets for All grant, and now we got that endeavor underway. Staff and I felt it would be really nice to have an intern that could help with some of the green commute stuff. Really do a little bit more outreach and do gather some more data and help track some of the initiatives that come out of that and came out of it in years past. So that's definitely an activity that will be covered under the Consolidated Planning Grant, so we would get that reimbursement through the feds and through MDOT. So with that said, we put together a position description, and we shared that information with Grand Valley and some others, and Alec put it on our website and a few other locations. So we're trying to get some interest for an intern. What I'd like to do, Tom and I were talking about this morning, is bring this back to this committee next month for approval of that position and moving forward with hopefully a recommendation. I don't know if we'll be able to do interviews that quick or not, but certainly that will be coming your way next month. Any other questions on that intern? We're looking forward to getting somebody else in the office to help out.
It's a good opportunity for people trying to learn the world of transportation planning, which is hard to do in one class.
Yeah, exactly. And we were talking about this, the whole planning side of things and looking to the future and what we're trying to do with land use. that's the kind of stuff I really like doing. I enjoy it, and sometimes people don't understand how exciting that can be. And we're here to explain that to them. So if we can get somebody in our office, we're hoping we can convert them to a transportation planner, lifelong, excited about doing the stuff that we do on a daily basis. So that's good stuff. Next thing that we talked about at exec was we had a few items in our employee handbook. We talked about PTO. The exec committee knows that I kind of like the idea of having vacation leave and sick leave, but just having PTO. We went through a little bit of a discussion. It looks like that PTO was policy was modified right before I started. So we kind of revisited it, discussed it a little bit, and we all decided it's nice the way it is. So we're gonna leave that alone. But a couple other things that came up were state holidays, federal holidays. There's a few that aren't recognized by the MACC, but certainly we're in the office in those days that we say, hey, call them down, oh, they're not in today, or call the feds, they're not in today. I think, Tom, you said the township has some floating holidays. I think, Mandy, you mentioned that as well. So maybe we'll update the handbook. The exec committee thought it'd be okay to maybe go that route, that, hey, there's some floating holidays that we could put in there to kind of keep up with the holidays that are out there right now. So I'll be making those changes and obviously bringing that back to the handbook, back to the board for approval, hopefully next month. And the last piece was kind of a gym membership. Just a couple other little perks that we think that would be good to keep staff healthy, engaged, and kind of keep up with other people that might want to try to steal staff. That we want to have perks that are good for staff, certainly not overly expensive. But I have some verbiage that I'll be putting into that handbook and then bring it back to you guys for approval next month as well. So it was a good discussion. Did I miss anything on that piece that you guys want to jump in with? No? Okay. The other thing is another item that makes me happy is the strategic vision map. That was something that was in draft form. It still is in draft. I have their comments where I'm going to make those final modifications, but that was really having that kind of one-pager. What is the MACC? What is it all about? Mission, vision, values, kind of our decision tree, those kind of things. Really good for me to have, because that makes it sure I'm grounded and I know what I'm talking about, and then be able to go out to the public. And I shared the presentation that I gave at the meeting with the chamber last month. So that's a good document, and we'll be able to share that next month as well. The other thing is ODC applied for a cleanup grant, and that was through the Huron River Watershed Council. I think it's under $3,000, so it's just a small grant. But the nice thing with the grant, it does help them buy some tools and really support some of the things they do when they go out to do cleanup. So one of the things I did ask them is look kind of up north, maybe the Pigeon River watershed. So we're looking for a river cleanup area up there, and then some areas down here as well. So just a small grant, but ODC is not able to be the actual grant recipient. It has to go through the MACC, so we were happy to help out with that. And they're getting all the volunteers ready and doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff to do the grant match. But that did spark a pretty good conversation that a lot of these grants that the ODC goes after, there's not an opportunity to actually make money. There's not like a big, here's a lump sum, $100,000, go get these tasks done. It's really kind of a dollar-for-dollar match. And I think what they do is great, and it's nice that they're part of the MACC, and we can support that. And certainly working with them, trying to show the value of all the work that they do. But we had a good discussion on where do these types of grants go. Like I want to make sure that we're going to go after grants that we know that we have the skills, the ability, the data, and the information that we can share, and that we're compensated appropriately for putting that together and getting that information out. So I probably would assume that you guys noticed that we haven't done a lot of grants in the last 6 to 8 months with ODC. I think part of that is because Kelly's been so busy, but the other part is I think that there's not a lot of those grants out there that we actually have the capacity to go after, that we're not already working on items that we're getting funded through our consolidated planning grant. So what we talked about at the exec committee is we don't want to hire a bunch of people to just go after environmental grants, and then when those grants are done, now we don't have any work for that environmental staff. So let's allow ODC to keep doing what they're doing, and then just monitor what grants are available that we might go after. And my guess it's going to be far and few between, but that doesn't mean we're not supporting ODC and not happy to have them as part of our environmental outreach. So any questions on that? It's good stuff. It's kind of a mouthful, but good stuff that's happening there. And then let's see, part of that is, since we're talking grants, so since our exec committee meeting on Monday, there are two things popped up out of nowhere. One was the Michigan Health Endowment Fund. So that's up to $500,000 of eligible grant funding for planning and environmental, or planning and design for healthy communities. So one of the things that we decided to do, and this is based on a conversation I had with MDOT, is it was Josh DeBryan. He said, you should really go after that because you guys were looking at your pedestrian crossing for the business loop. So by Friday, 5 p.m., we had to have a concept paper in. So Alec really, worked hard to make sure we got that stuff together. We were going back and forth, and we were able to get our concept paper in, and we're hoping to get some feedback from them in the next week or so. And that, if they like the concept paper, then our application is due May 6th. So I'm hoping that we can get support for that environmental and design phase for that project. So concurrently with that, last week there was a notice of funding opportunity through the feds, and this was also for design work and planning for non-motorized trails, active transportation. So that's came out of nowhere, and that application is due June 17th. So that's right around the corner. As you know, the Michigan Infrastructure Office has been put in place by the governor to make sure that there's a team of people and funding to support grants, grant writing. So their timeline, this is the 2B is what it's called, timeline was due Friday. To be able to be eligible for support from the Michigan Infrastructure Office to help us with funding and grant writing to meet a June 17th deadline. So we got that information in, and they received it and said, thank you very much. They'll be getting back to us. So I'm asking for the funding and for the grant support writing for the June 17th NOFO for design. So I'm going to two places asking for the same thing. And my goal is to spend their money, not ours. I don't know how well that's going to go. But once I get feedback over the next week or two, I'll understand what and where they are. They might say, well, the MACC will need to have, X number of dollars or X number of percentage, in this for it to be considered. So certainly that's something next month I'll have to come back to you guys to say, hey, here's where we are. If we really want this design money, let's say it's $500,000 to do all the design and all the environmental work, the MACC will need to put up $100,000. Well, that will be a really good discussion that we can have here to say, is this what we want to do? I feel like it's the right thing to do. considering the feedback that we've gotten thus far with the activities that we've undertaken. And I'm hoping that some folks come to the meeting tomorrow, the MDOT Construction Open House. We'll have our little table next to the construction folks at MDOT with our non-motorized discussion, our pedestrian report, overpass discussion report. So I'm just hoping to keep continuing getting the feedback from the public and then keep working with whoever I need to work with to find funding to keep this project moving forward. So that again was a mouthful, but there's a lot going on, and I feel like we're in this world of grant funding. So that's another discussion we had at the exec committee, is maybe one of these days we might need to hire a grant writer, or we might partner with other grant writers or communities that have one or want one, or maybe we go in on it. But it's exciting and it's fun. It makes the job interesting. But sometimes you just feel like you're just putting so many irons into the fire without knowing what's going to result from it. So I think we have to have a very measured approach of what we're doing. You know, what's our day job, and that goes back to kind of our strategic plan. So right now, I think the staff is firing on all cylinders. We're getting in the middle of a lot of things, but we're not getting too far over our skis, and we're getting a lot of work done. So feeling good.
We talked a lot about funding the priorities that are already identified,
Right.
and that's really, when we're looking at this grant dollars, when it makes sense, is we already know we're committed to, we want that pedestrian bridge, we want this project, and if there are funding opportunities that align.
Yeah.
And by the way, kudos on turning that around that fast. That's pretty impressive, both of those.
Yeah. It's fun when you drive home after a really good week and you know that you've lined things up and you have things that are right where they need to be. So there's a lot of job satisfaction there with that. Last thing I think I'll throw out there is we had our Unified Work Program meeting with MDOT. So there are a lot of folks at MDOT that are part of that Unified Work Program discussion. So that's a good 2-hour meeting where you go over each item that needs to be completed over the course of a year, and MDOT makes sure that we understand what's required of them, what the new federal requirements are, what other planning aspects that need to be covered, and we're looking forward to diving into that over the next 6-8 weeks to get our Unified Work Program right where it needs to be. So you guys can approve that. I believe that's approved with our budget first week of June. So you guys should be seeing something next month as a draft, and then moving on for final approval after that. But the good news is there's not a lot of changes, so that's good. And we feel like we'll be able to get that Unified Work Program turned around and to you next month pretty easily. So there's that.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
I was part of that meeting, and I just wanted to say it was nice because it was really good discussion and back and forth, and appreciative of you asking questions and being inquisitive on all the different areas that you guys touched. So it was a good back and forth meeting, whereas some other ones, don't go that way. So it was.
So I'm so glad you said that, because for me, okay, you're the executive director, I have a staff, I'm reporting to you guys. There's so many good things that happen. So that's a good example of when that meeting's done and you realize that there's 5 different departments within MDOT that know us, that we talk to, and the first thing they say is, hey, you guys, thanks so much for what you guys are doing. Like, that's MDOT telling me and my staff, thank you. And there's so many, how many people were on that meeting?
Probably close to 20.
Yeah, and every single one of them had something nice to say about our staff and then what we do as an organization. So you can't get any better than that. I think I'm on cloud 9 after meetings like that. It's great. All right, so enough of how great this job is and how amazing my staff is. How about we jump into member comments? And maybe we should kick that off with the host.
Sure. I got a couple things. Now I added a third one. Jason, you're doing a great job.
Let me write that down, I gotta tell everybody.
Well, I only had two, but I had to add that third one. A couple things. We have a proposal just down the street here for a battery storage facility, and it's a little controversial with some of the citizens of our township. We're kind of strict on wind and solar in our little township here, and this site is actually good. It's about 2 miles north here on 136th Avenue, right near a switching station for power. So location-wise, it's very good, not too populated there, but if anybody has any ordinances on battery storage, I'd love to hear about it, because we're thinking about either adding to our ordinances or not sure. And this company is out of California and pushing a local landowner, and they're putting a little bit of pressure on, and it's like, wait a minute, you still got to go through the steps.
Right.
You got to go through the planning commission, got to go through the board, and they kind of don't understand that. And the gentleman happens to be a good friend of mine too, so that makes it just interesting. Then the second thing, right along, pigtails off that a little bit, is if you're from Ottawa County, you can't be from Kent. No. Allegan. I've got some petitions here, and I got 11 spaces left. And this is a petition. Last November, our governor passed a law to take the authority away from townships for solar and wind, and that's going to be taking effect this coming November. And there's a petition cycling around to overturn that. And if you are interested in signing that, I would love to have you sign it. This is for Ottawa County individuals only. If you want to bring the authority over solar and wind back to local, please see me afterwards, and I'll get your signature, and a $100 bill comes to you. So keep that off the minutes, please. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, that's great. All right, well then, do we want to start around the table?
Absolutely. Not a lot going on in Holland. We've got fire station on Waverly that's getting close to completion. Once that's done, we're going to move the firefighters that are at the Collin Park station into the old Waverly station while we redo the Collin Park station. Then we'll tear down the old Waverly station, and then everybody will be all set where they need to go. It's budget time, so staff's been busy getting the budget ready to go. We'll do that just after spring break. We're off next week for spring break, which is a great thing. Tulip time's coming up, and again, thank you, Tyler, for bringing people in. I like to think of it like Vegas. All of the moving sidewalks go into the casino, and none go out of the casino. We just want them coming in. They can figure out how to get their own way out after they've spent their money in Holland. And then really big news that many of you probably heard about, because a lot of the TV and radio stations picked it up. Last Wednesday night, we approved the budget for an ice skating facility in downtown Holland. It's going to be refrigerated, so when we have winters like this past one, we'll still be able to skate. Huge pond of ice, ribbon that goes out into the park that you can skate on, fireplace where parents can watch their kids skate, but another fireplace out at the end of the ribbon that you have to skate to get to, curling rink, there'll be skate rentals, there'll be hot chocolate. All the catalyst was a West Ottawa Public Schools teacher, retired, who gave us over $1 million to get the thing going. Members of the community stepped up. We were able to fundraise about $7 million toward the rink. We used $2.4 million of our ARPA funds to go toward it. So 9.4 of the 11.3 total is being paid for with dollars that are not local tax dollars. 83% of the funding came from something other than tax dollars. In addition, if you've been down 6th Street, it'll be at the corner of 6th and College, just 2 blocks from New Holland Brewing, from the Curragh, from all of the restaurants and districts down there. It's 1 block from a parking structure, 1.5 blocks from Mandy's office, so she can skate at lunchtime.
That's why we're moving there.
Yes, we redid 6th Street last year. $9 million of improvements on 6th Street, and thanks to a partnership that we had with Lakeshore Advantage, we were able to reopen a brownfield redevelopment plan that we had So almost all, if not all of that $9 million that we spent this past year redoing 6th Street is covered with brownfield funds. So we've got about 90% of the cost of this $20 million project covered in ways other than city tax dollars. If you can tell, I'm excited, really excited. We're starting construction, ribbon cuttings, April 23rd at 3 p.m. They're going to start construction right after that. It will not interfere with tulip time. And then we're planning on being able to skate in the winter of 25-26. So we won't yet be done this coming winter. Maybe this time next year we'll be opening, and we're programming it year-round, not ice skating year-round, but other events. So it will likely be used in spring, summer, fall before it's ever skated out of that first winter. So that's all we have going on in Holland right now.
I bet that's not actually true. So.
Yeah, and Holland Township, first of all, really appreciate your approving the tip amendment today. I cross 104th Avenue Bridge all the time, so thanks to the Road Commission for getting that one on the docket and getting it funded. So, I just tell the kids, just say a prayer and gun it. So really appreciate that. Also, kudos goes to the project team at MDOT regarding the BL 196 project. I'm hearing good things that group is working with business owners. The township has a lot of business owners along a stretch of that project, and I've heard wonderful things that they're trying to accommodate as many requests of business owners as possible. So just wanted to say thank you for that.
I'll pass that along. I'm getting a lot of thank yous I probably don't deserve myself, but I will pass that along to the team. Thank you, guys.
Lakeshore Advantage, so Ryan had to jet, but thank you for those who said hi to him. He's our newest business solutions manager. So the business solutions team is the group that's out meeting face-to-face with employers on a regular basis. They're having those retention meetings that are so incredibly important with businesses to find out the health of our companies, also helping those companies with expansion needs as appropriate. So we're super excited to have brought him on. He's at about the 90-day mark. So if he gives you a call, says, hey, I need to talk, I'd be grateful if you would pick up the phone or respond to the email. We also have hired a new strategic initiatives project manager that'll be starting in a week, and we have an internship available for a marketing communications intern. So kind of in the midst of trying to round out our team, excited we're getting close. And if you have any college students that are interested in economic development, civic engagement, marketing, comms, and they don't want the MACC internship, send them our way. Happy to direct them to that job posting. So yeah, lots going on. Again, we're kind of in the thick of meeting with the employers right now and continuing to figure out how everybody's doing.
Anything else? No? Jim?
First of all, thank you, Tom, for remembering John. His loss is tremendous for our county. But related to that, the board has of commissioners, which about the only thing we do for roads is appoint the road commissioners. And we have started a schedule for interviewing people who wish to succeed John. Applications are due April 18th, and then following 2 meetings we'll interview and make a selection. And not to steal Al's thunder, but I have the Allegan petition and also the Kent petition and Ottawa petition. So if he runs out of space and you want to see me afterwards to sign the petition on the windmill and solar field, restoring local control to that, please do so. Finally, our construction is well underway for rehabilitating our courthouse and adding space for a third circuit court judge. At the same time, we are transferring the bulk of the operations of our 3 elected officers, clerk, treasurer, register of deeds, and drain commissioners to our Dumont Lake campus, which is not affected by the road construction of the roundabout in the city of Allegan. So we expect that construction on both sites will be done by the end of this year.
I think I'm up. Our community park is being further developed. If you've driven out to the lake, you'll drive right by it. And the busy season is coming. Our pickleball courts should be done very soon, finally. It's been a long process, so if you want to play pickleball, come on out. You'll probably all have pickleball courts in your communities as well, but we will have some tournaments out there as well. So we're looking forward to that. Board just approved to turn a significant amount of the acreage into prairie. So if you are a birder or a butterfly watcher, we hope to create some habitat for that. This year it will look bad because they got a spray for invasive species, so it's not going to look so nice this year, but in the next 2-3 years it will look much nicer. We have a committee that's working on figuring out what we want to do with a community center that we're planning on building as well. So the committee is well underway with that and getting community input on that. And then lastly, the master plan, which got delayed due to short-term rentals, is hopefully going to be done by the end of this year, in which case the surrounding communities will get a chance to look at it. So that's what's going on in our township.
Very good, thank you.
Nothing.
All right.
Okay, well, Port Sheldon, pretty busy. We've got our master plan process underway. First meeting with Planning Commission this week. That's also in this year is our centennial, so we've had a lot of planning and moving forward to that. We're kind of culminating around the June 1st weekend with some events, big cookout type deal, and yeah, it'll be kind of fun. We also had a new playground structure installed, partly with our ARPA funds. So we have a ribbon cutting coming up for that, kind of to kick that off, and the board's going to consider maybe naming the Township Hall Park something different than that, maybe like Centennial Park. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, and then we had our fire station LED lighting upgrade throughout, and repairs that were badly needed, as well as the whole interior repainted. So I don't know how many layers of nicotine were covered over, but it's much, much brighter in there now. No smoking in the station now. Used to be lots of it, but anyway. So yeah, we're moving forward. Lots of stuff going on, but keep really busy.
Great.
City of Zeeland, we're starting our next snow melt system through the downtown. We had 2 blocks done last year, 2 blocks done this year. They'll start any time now. Hopefully we'll keep Main Street open most of the time. Kind of play chicken with cars because we're going to try to keep it 2-way, but we'll see how that works. A couple new buildings being built in our downtown, 2 3-story buildings, and looking forward to that. The Sly building, which is going to be apartments, will soon be open in early spring, early summer, or late spring, early summer. So that's been an ongoing project for a couple of years, but it's a nice addition to our downtown. Community restaurants open, was closed down by fire last year, and another new restaurant coming into town, and in the old Elbow Room restaurant building, and then public restaurant is coming back too. So yeah, some exciting things. Looking forward to all the construction to be completed by the end of the summer.
Great.
On Thursday, we approved going for the road renewal millage. We're going to have it on the August ballot. We're going for a renewal and not what the original millage 10 years ago was for a half mill. And we had considerable debate whether we go for a half mill or renew at the current 4 point something because of the Headley, and because we're looking at road improvements have gone up like 33%, and were we leaving money on the table, but it came down to us less than 200,000, so we thought with the current environment it's just best to go for a renewal instead of trying to go back up to the half mill.
Exciting.
Nothing further from me, thank you.
Just a couple things. We're currently working in our basement all huddled together in one big blob. It makes for an interesting work environment. Our upstairs should be finished about a month from now, so we'll be moving back upstairs. We have to get out of the basement before the May election, because it's a polling place, so we do have a deadline. So that's been keeping us all friends, let's put it that way. And then we continue to work on the bike path connection between Byron and Adams. I think it's going to the Ottawa County Board for approval of the easements we need through the green or the upper MACC area in April sometime. So after that, then I think we can finalize getting it out for bid. Not sure it'll get constructed this year anymore, but probably early next year.
Good. Very good.
My turn. Okay, so just want to draw your attention to the Broadband 123 Net email that Paul Sachs sent out on 3/13. He wants to engage one-on-one with local leaders. He did talk about maybe having people come out to the county to take a look at the FCC maps for broadband availability. I took a look just even at a glance, and I'll tell you, I've lived in a couple of the locations, and they say have broadband coverage, but they don't. So this is your time to challenge. We did start a new interim county administrator. His name is John Anderson, and he retired from the Riverside Sheriff's Department in California after serving 30 years there. It's a population of 2.2 million people. He was there, like I said, for 30 years. He's worked here, and he moved to Michigan. In 16, he's worked for Spectrum Health, now Corewell, Detroit Tigers, and then also General Motors as well. He's going to fill that slot until the end of the year. We are taking steps to prepare for strategic planning. And then our budget season, we did develop a strategic planning committee that will include all the leadership in the county. And just recently, I don't know if any of you participated, I can't remember, it's a large room, 72 participants. It's a tabletop event for the local emergency preparedness committee. That was pretty remarkable, honestly, to see the scenario was that, actually a scenario was developed by a husband and wife team from Hudsonville Ice Cream. It was a train derailment. Approximately 18,000 gallons of liquid chlorine was released from a tanker car right outside of the farmhouse in Zeeland. I was so incredibly impressed with the professionalism and the knowledge base that exists. I sat at the table with Captain Tinney from Holland. He was fire captain from Holland. He should have been a chemist, honestly. And just the temperature variation and, it transforming from liquid to gas. And but it was really actually quite frightening. We used GIS to determine kind of the path of the chemical and then who was at risk. So you should be very, very impressed with the response. I have a history in emergency preparedness, so this was really remarkable to see. I started in 2002. Looking this far out, how far we've come in the level of engagement was very impressive. And then board memberships, I just have to acknowledge that your chairman, Tom Bird, has graciously, tomorrow, you will be officially placed on the board of CMH. I know your wife Rita served on that board for 14 years. I can announce that that's going to happen tomorrow, and I really thank you for your willingness to serve. So that's it at the county.
All right, Larry.
All right, the project that you did the TIP amendment on Blue Star Highway between 141st and 143rd, we anticipate that being going out to bid in June of this year. Construction will start roughly 5 weeks after that, I would guess. The other thing we have in Allegan County is we let out to bid our primary paving program, and it's a pretty big program, but we came in about at budget, so I think we're in pretty good shape with that.
Good.
We're in the process of getting those contracts and insurance and all the bonding and stuff set up right now.
Very good, thank you.
That's all I have.
All right, so with that, next meeting, Port Sheldon, April 22nd, and looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And support. All right, all in favor? There you go. Thank you.